Welcome to Pure Hustle Podcast. I'm Mike.
And this is Orlando, and we are episode 20. You're waiting, aren't you?
Yeah, just awkwardly waiting for I can't believe it's episode 20.
It's unbelievable that it's episode 20.
It is unbelievable. It is kind of cool, right? Like,
Yeah,
it was exciting to get to double digits, and now we're like,
and by the time this drops, it's Halloween, isn't it?
Oh, it's Halloween.
Should we have been in costumes or something?
We should have done like some spooky themed episode.
Come on now.
And we didn't do it.
Spooky theme?
I just want to use the word spooky.
Why spooky?
Spooky is like one of the coolest. Like, just think about it. Like, oh, that's spooky. Like, I don't know. Like, spooky.
That's a word that like is never used.
Yeah, because
like you never tell a story and go,
amazing.
Hey, it was really spooky.
Yeah, but if you did, it would sound really awesome.
Yeah, I don't know about that. All right, let's get moving. We have a lot of new listeners out there that we are very thankful for. A lot of it is due because of Pete, Craigslist Hunter. Okay, so if you've never, I always want to say the Craigslist Hunter. So he is the Craigslist Hunter.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, when you are the one.
Yeah.
He should be.
He should be.
Craigslist
and Pete, if you're listening, I know you didn't give us a shout out just so we could say this, but we wanted to say thank you. We are very appreciative. We respect you. We've learned a lot. Guys, if you have not listened to Craigslist Hunter on YouTube, he has a channel and he has a lot of great information. And he's probably one of the most authentic resellers out there. The reason I say that is, he's not pushing things for you to buy. He's not sending you affiliate links, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But that's never been Pete's thing. Pete is very big about just putting content out there that'll provide value. So he'll tell you how it is. If your stuff isn't selling, he'll tell you why it's not selling. Actually, that's going to be one of our new podcasts that we're releasing next time.
Why things aren't selling?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd like to know that.
Okay, but anyways, getting back to Pete. If you haven't had a chance, check out Pete's channel on YouTube, Craigslist Hunter. You can also follow him on Instagram. Pete, we are very thankful if you're listening. We hope to always be real and be relevant. And do you want to go to the next line?
Yeah, we'll be reselling too. Honestly, thank you so much. It's humbling. Especially for me. You mentioned it in your YouTube video and you shouted out like, it's a cool dynamic. I'm the new guy. I'm learning, and Orlando has taught me so much. And it's amazing to see people that like when Orlando is teaching me about reselling, and he's talking about all these other resellers out there.
Well, that's why I know what I know.
Yeah, and it's like so to hear that you are listening to us and you get to share in my journey as I become a reseller, it's amazing. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pete. Really thankful, and thanks to all of you that have sent us incredible, nice comments about, hey, love the podcast. Love the sound quality. That's all Mike over here. And just love the value we bring. So we're hoping to continue doing that. And this podcast, hopefully, this doesn't become a Lord of the Rings episode. You know what I mean?
Like really long?
Yeah, like we almost went 2 hours.
That's cool. I want to make sure that we don't go long for the sake of going long. But if we've got something to say, because the nice thing with podcasts is, what a lot of people have told us is, driving on commutes or packing or things. I have so many podcasts that I listen to of various, genres and types, and you almost can never have enough, right? Because you're always doing something where you can have some information coming into your eardrums.
Correct. So we're glad that we are able to fill up that time for you while you're busy.
Yeah.
So let's get on with the podcast.
You. Let's do it.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about Mike.
Oh, we're going to talk about me.
Yeah, we're going to talk about, because we always do this kind of catching up, right? Like, where have we been since the last update episode?
Well, let's see. What was I talking about last time? I wanted to posh, right? Like, that was what I was kind of focusing on.
Okay, you had two. You actually set yourself up, and that might be wrong.
What was I thinking?
You said you were looking forward to garage sales.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think we're always looking forward to. I don't know why you picked that one.
Because it's just easy. It's easy out. Laziness.
Wow.
Sometimes you can't have something new every single week, right? Like sometimes consistency and grind is what you're looking forward to.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. All right, and the other one was that you wanted to make Poshmark more of a thing.
Yeah, more of a thing. Yeah, so we were...
Well, let's go back to garage sales.
Okay, garage sales. I loved it. It was amazing. We actually ended up going to the same community sale today. I don't know if
you never said hi. You didn't text me.
I'm busy hunting.
I know.
I don't honestly. I make some videos while I'm out there. I don't know how you do it. A couple times I start to record something and then I'm like, oh, I need to get to the next place. So I think part of it is you're comfortable enough with the with what you're doing out there and what you're looking for, and I'm still doing so much researching on my phone.
No, I get that.
So instead of texting you, I'm researching stuff on eBay. Like, does this sell for money? I don't
But
know.
I do notice like I'm not as fast as I used to be. Right? Because
Really?
because I want to provide value and I
Mm,
want to let people know like this is what happened here and what happened here. And there's always in the back of my mind, like, Orlando, like, you got to keep moving. You got to
mm,
keep moving. But there's another part of me that cares about our listeners. And I just want to provide, and especially our Instagram followers. Well, they're both our listeners, but,
oh,
we're talking about IG stories here. I want to be able to provide stuff out there so people feel motivated while they're out there doing garage sales.
yep. It's good
Right.
stuff.
So I get that. So do you want to talk a little bit about that? Or is that kind of going to be part of your hustle of the week?
Yeah. So hustle of the week and I think Bolo both
All
are kind of
wrapped in
coming.
one?
Well, not wrapped in one, but separate things, but kind of feed into some of the garage selling stuff today. So I'll definitely talk about that later. But it was a good garage sale. You mentioned I had the same map, and I actually had made a video that I was going to send out, and then I realized you already did an Insta story. Like it was pretty legit. They had every single house that was on there, and the map was. I actually though had the interactive map on my phone that I was using, so much nicer because it showed you where
What?
you were at. So
I didn't
yeah.
even, I saw that, but I didn't know
It's
what it
genius.
was
I'm gonna
about.
start using it from now on. I'm gonna look more into the interactive map, see if it's something you can set up easily or if it's easier to if they do it.
Okay, so explain that to me a little bit. Interactive map. So you can do that with any garage sales, is what you're saying?
Well, I don't know. So when I clicked on this Craigslist ad for this garage sale, it had their map. It told you what house you can go to get more maps. And then it had at the bottom interactive map link, right? So I put in that link, and it's super super long. And I wasn't using Craigslist on my phone; I was using my computer. So I used like a Google link shortener to shorten it so that I could type it in on my phone. And I pulled it up, and it basically pulled up what looked like, but it was in a web browser, Google Maps,
Okay.
with all of the houses, all those little stars already done in the neighborhood,
Okay.
and it would show you where your car was on there as a little blue dot. So as I'm driving around, I could say like, okay, I'm getting close to one. There's going to be one up on the left.
That's incredible.
It was amazing.
Because that was my problem this morning. So I realized I dropped the ball the night before. Because I'm usually really good about this. So I
Like
use
putting
it.
them in.
Yeah, I use this website called routeexcel.com. I think it's European because when I pay, I have to pay in pounds
Mm,
for the service. Like you're allowed to do, I think, like 10 addresses and it'll give you a route. Like start here and it'll give you the most efficient route.
mm,
And sometimes when it's more than 10, I forget what the number is. You have to pay like $3 or whatever the pounds are.
right.
And I would put all my addresses and it draws out the route. Well, this morning, I'm like driving going, wait a second, there's something not right here. Like, why is it taking me so
Mm,
long to figure out where to go? And it's because I didn't do my homework the night
yep,
before. So again, if you're going to a community garage sale, make sure you do the homework the night before. I sound like a teacher right now.
yeah. Do your homework.
That's terrible. All right.
Stay calm and do your homework.
But
I
this
have
homework will
a picture
provide
that
you
says
money.
that in my classroom. Kids love it. They hate it.
Okay. So that's definitely something maybe in the future we want to just show more.
Yeah, I'm gonna look more into the interactive map website and see how easy it is to set one up yourself. If it's more efficient than paying through something like Route Excel, or who knows? It's all about finding something better,
No, that's incredible.
cheaper, easier, faster,
I mean,
saving time and money.
I do like the kind of freestyling, like you're just driving around, you're like, hey, is the garage sale? I mean, I was talking today about that's how I had my huge score where I picked up, I don't know, 50 pairs of Danner boots and lacrosse boots from someone who was, they worked for the company and they were offloading them for like, I think I paid like 15 to 20 for each one. And I've been making a lot of money on them. So, and that was one that was off the grid.
Hmm.
Like I was just driving out.
Yeah, a lot of my big finds have been the same way. Even at community sales where it's not one of the ones mapped on a map, and there's like a random arrow pointing, or I'm just driving and I see it. And those are the ones I think you find the best stuff because other people aren't looking there.
No, I know.
Yeah.
And actually today on the Insta story, I'm like, I'm gonna go drive around. Yeah, I didn't find anything.
So you win, you lose.
That's good. But so I look forward to what you're gonna tell us about your garage sales.
Yeah, garage sales was good.
Mike has said nothing to me. And actually I told him don't tell me because I want to know later.
Yeah, and then he complains, "Oh, you didn't text me while you were out."
Well, that's true. Okay.
All right.
All right. So what about Posh? Making it a
okay,
thing.
so
Tell me.
the original plan this weekend was I was going to make a logo for our Posh store and really start to like kind of build that, as it were. And then episode 19 happened, And episode 19 was, about some of the habits that we should have. And some of those things really got me thinking that, like, I take this seriously, but I don't know if I'm doing a good enough job of keeping track of my finances and all of those things that comes with running a business. So Heather and I went and opened up a business bank account.
Really?
It
Getting
was legit.
serious.
Yeah, so we've got a business bank account now. So it's gonna be so much easier to track, what's our capital, what's our income coming in, what expenses we're paying. So that was exciting. So we didn't make the logo, but we have that bank account,
So let
which
me stop you real quick. So talk to me about what it looked like before, right? Because you're saying you needed to create a separate business account. So
mm,
what made you go to do a business account? Like was everything like all together? Like you would spend something you didn't know where it came from?
it was one of those things, like, we knew we were always making profit off of items we were selling, right?
Okay.
And then we know inventory obviously is potential profit. I think that's the best way of thinking about it.
Okay.
So everything is either profit or potential profit. So we haven't been concerned necessarily about, like, losing money, but we've been seeing our savings account go down and down and down. And then we make payments, back to our savings account through PayPal. And it's like, okay, it's back up a little bit, but it's like, oh, but some of that's capital. Wait, no, actually, like, we use a lot of our savings, so, like, we need to be paying ourselves back. And so, like, there's this, like, in between kind of, like, I'm not sure, like, what's business capital and what's personal savings. And so having a business account is doing two things for us. One, it makes it very clear, right? Like, we can look in and know exactly how much is our reselling bringing in, how much do we
Okay.
have this month, how much has gone out this month, and then tracking expenses is going to be so much easier. Like, of course, you've got to keep the receipts, but when it comes to a potential IRS audit, heaven forbid, you want to be able to say, like, every withdrawal, like, these were the things, like, this is an expense, it's a write-off. Every deposit is, accounted for, and you're not going through your personal accounts and like, "Oh, wait, no, that was McDonald's. Oh, wait, no, that was gas. Oh, wait, that was Target. Oh, wait, but I think that was when I bought, stuff for my son. But this one was definitely." It's
Okay,
just
I get it.
challenging, you know?
And I actually use GoDaddy bookkeeping kind
Mm,
of separated. So I have two, I think three cards linked to my GoDaddy bookkeeping account, and it tracks my Amazon and my eBay and
nice.
every expense that I make. And I only keep these cards for those expenses. And then when I go to GoDaddy bookkeeping, I can put it under cost of goods sold. I can put it
Mm,
under shipping or supplies or whatever it is. So that might be the next step,
yep.
as you're growing your business. But it's been really awesome and helpful because I don't have to think about it. Right, and you also picked up an app too, right, for your mileage?
Yes, yes. So, I can't remember what it's called
Was
right
it
now, like,
MileIQ,
no, it's like
Everlance? Oh, there's
Stride.
another one? There's always new ones.
Yeah. We got one that works for Android and Apple because 'cause I'm an Android person, my wife's an Apple person, so,
Uh,
we had to find an app that worked for both. But yeah, so we've got the app now. I mean, it's just been good, like, we're taking it more seriously. I feel steps in the right direction. It feels good, man,
so you
for
kinda put
sure.
the Posh thing on hold for a little bit.
No, I feel like that was part of Posh.
Okay, you're gonna, like, brand it and, like, do all those things, but you're saying this is part of that.
This is part of that, right? Like, the
Okay.
behind the scenes stuff, like, that stuff, the nitty-gritty is as much part of your business as the fun, flowery stuff, you know?
Mhm.
And I think Posh has been going good too. There's been so many of you guys, listeners who've gone to our Posh store, and shared stuff, Instagram followers. If you've done that, a few of you guys have, like, made comments or, like, shared a bunch of my closet and then said, like, "Thanks for the podcast, but I don't know your Instagram feed." Like, I'd love to, like, shout you out and say, like, "Hey, check out their store," so, let me know your Instagram handle so I can, shout you out. That'd be awesome.
And I will tell you, it's incredible, the Posh thing and the sharing I'm always amazed by that because I definitely it just creates, like, a positive environment.
Yeah, and I didn't really feel that until, like, doing it with the listeners. Like, in the past, it was almost kind of, like, you almost have your followers you're not necessarily connected to. I don't feel like as much on Posh as you are, like, on Instagram.
Okay.
So you've got just this number of followers that kind of rises quickly, um, and some people share your stuff, some people don't. But now that there's, like, a handful of people who I know in another context, right? Like, they listen to our podcast, they
They kinda
communicate with
become
us on
friends
Instagram.
too,
Yeah, they're
though.
like you guys are, like,
Yeah,
I feel
you
like
are
you
kind of. No, you are friends.
yeah, I feel like you guys are part of what we're doing here. And so when you say, like, "Hey, your closet looks good. Thanks for what are doing on the podcast." And then I look at your closet and you've got 10 times as many listings and 100 times as many followers, and you're doing way more than I'm doing. Cause like sometimes when I'm talking to Orlando, I feel like, man, I'm a Posh expert. And then I realize like, I don't know anything about Posh, right? Like I'm still learning this. And so many of you guys know way more about Posh than I do. But the fact that my journey in Posh and kind of what I'm learning is helping or at least entertaining. And then you guys can be helping me, right? Like send me advice and tips and I will share that with the world or at least, with
The podcast world,
you guys, the world that matters.
the world that matters.
What about you? What's been going on with you?
So
eBay listings.
Well, I've been busy. Like I will tell you, I get why the one man show will only last for so long.
Mm.
Because right now I have stacks of online arbitrage sitting at my house. I have tons of eBay listings that are not active. I have tons of eBay inventory that still needs to get processed. I have bookkeeping I need to take care of.
Ooh.
I mean, it's very overwhelming, and it's okay. I'd rather be in this place because it means that I'm scaling, and I also have my helper. So what it's caused me to do is to lean on my helper even more, right? Because I've gotten to a place where it's like I don't have options, right? If I want to take this to the next level, I have to be willing to let go of some things, right? So that was a big step for me with clothing because I love selling clothing. I don't like taking measurements. I don't mind the pictures, but that's kind of not, I remember when I first started, I loved it because I loved the ROI. So the ROI kept me motivated and it still does. But I also love doing RA. I love going, to Targets and Walmarts and just finding those hot toys or those toys that are going to allow me to scale. And so now I'm at a place where I have to let go. And I think that's just part of scaling.
Yeah.
I remember and this is not really, I guess this will be part of my random story. Okay. But, when I was a vice principal, I remember my first year, I did everything. Like I was every single email, every single phone call, every single interaction, like, and it just, and I don't know if you remember, but like I was always swamped. Like, and what it did is it broke my relationships with other people,
right? Because
I didn't have time for them. And as I began to learn more things. I'll never forget going to, and I know this is the random story, okay? Because it is recently related, so stick with me. And I remember going to this conference for administrators, and he said, "Your job is to do absolutely nothing." I remember going, "That does not sound good at all." I'm sure faculty would not be happy with me going, "Everyone, my job is for me to do absolutely nothing and for you all to work." Right? Would you have enjoyed that message?
I think I could read between the lines and see the idea of management there and how proper management works, but I'd like to hear how that plays out for you.
Well,
because it would be hard. It'd be like, no, I'm working hard. You need to work hard too, Mr. VP.
So if you're listening, okay, stick with us. There's a point to all of this, and this is going to be my random story for today. So one of the things they said is you have to become a minimalist. I hope I said that right. Minimalist. Does that sound okay?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So they said, get rid of all your bookshelves with all your books. Get rid of anything that's going to hold you in your office. Your job is to do nothing. And what they meant by that was you have to be out there establishing relationships. So you have to be in the classrooms. You have to be talking to parents. You have to be talking to students. So I got rid of everything. Do you remember my office? What did I have in my office? Remember when you would come in?
I remember you had a board game, which is kind of what sparked our friendship.
Okay. All right. Outside of the board game, what was in there before I left?
Oh man, you're putting me on the.
It was easy.
Here. A big TV.
Okay, I did. I had a huge flat screen that I used to share information and occasionally, use for YouTube.
And
after hours.
And a desk.
And a desk and a chair.
And another chair.
And that's pretty much it.
It's true, yeah.
Right? I mean, I did have one small shelf in the back, but what it did, it caused me to leave. Right? For whatever reason, all this stuff around me, caused me to be stuck. Right? And at the same time, I ended up having my assistant answer a lot of my emails, take a lot of my phone calls. A lot of times I would get contacts for they needed information about something. So what I did is I would create a long list, and I would say, if anybody calls or anybody needs this info, here it is. Don't worry about contacting me. I'm going to be out and about. All right, now let's relate it to reselling. It's the same scenario,
Mm.
right? I should be out there. I shouldn't be stuck, prepping inventory or making sure that, all the pictures are just right. Like I should be out there sourcing, right? So if I want to maximize what I'm doing, I need to remove all that clutter, right? So one of those steps was to allow my helper to take over that, right? And my helper is incredible. I mean, she's so good at what she does, and so I think I had about 100 pieces of clothing that were just sitting there.
Sounds like a death pile.
It was a death pile. Okay, it was a major death pile, and I remember it would just like stare at me every day, and it would get me down. And I go, okay, I'm gonna get all this prepped. I'm gonna remove all the thrift store tags. I'm gonna make sure that they're ready to go for pictures, and then I'm gonna drop them off. And then I had more clothing and more clothing. And this last week, I just said, I'm not gonna do all those things. I'm gonna trust that she's incredible, and she'll figure it all out. And so what I did is I got 2 totes. I got all my clothing. I did talk to her and say, hey, are you comfortable taking it to the next step? Because up to this point, she was taking pictures of shoes, whatever items. Clothing takes a little more work, right? You have to remove the tag. You have to do measurements. You have to take pictures. You have to make sure there's no flaws. And what I did is I took all this clothes, and I put it in 2 totes, and I just dropped them off. And I said, hey, what I need you to do is I need you to put together some kind of a chart, and I need you to put, the brand, the size, the material, the hem, the chest measurements, the sleeve, any flaws. And then after you do all that, I'm going to buy a lighting kit if you're okay with it. And she said she was fine with it. I'm going to buy a lighting kit, and I trust that you're going to take awesome pictures. Just take a look at what I've been doing on my eBay listings. And away we went.
Nice. So now let me ask you though, Orlando, we've had actually a couple of comments where people have asked that question, like, why do some people like want to stay a one-man show? And if you're a listener and you're just starting, I mean, the truth is you probably are a one-man show for a while. Like you need to be, you have to build up that pipeline. You have to you have to work your way to that point. But I'm sure the people who are at that precipice of they could go to the next level and start to hire helpers and begin to focus on the areas that are going to be most productive for them. One of the fears I'm sure many of them have is if I get a helper and I teach them how to take pictures and how to list and which items are worth money because they're seeing the items I'm selling, am I just going to create somebody who's going to go out and do the exact same thing as I'm doing? And now I've got another competition out there and I don't have my helper. So you're basically training up a replacement for you or a competition. What would you say to somebody who's got that fear?
I think it's real, but what ends up happening with my helper, like it's not what she wants to do.
Right. Okay.
It's not like her thing. Like she's an artist. She does a great job. She's still going through college. Like that's her focus. And I'm okay if she ends up saying, Orlando, I really want to do some of this on my own. Can you teach me? I'm okay with that too. That's fine. Cause there's always people that are willing, they have too much going on. Cause again, we always talk about this. Like, we think that the flip life is just about going to garage sales, finding an item, and making the money, right? There's all these steps in between.
Right.
Right? There's the research, there's finding the right products, there's growing your capital, then there's, taking the pictures, doing the listing, packing, dealing with customer messages, taking best offers. It goes on and on and on and on. Right? So it's not that simple. And sometimes some people don't want to go down that road. And if she does want to go down that road, I'm okay. Because that's what we're about. We're about helping other people level up. So up to this point, that hasn't happened. What's pretty incredible is that I remember asking her, I go, so are you noticing things? She goes, yeah, like you bring some really nice shoes. Or, and I was like, oh, and I remember, I'll never forget, like she had some relatives and I think it was her brother and her dad was there and they like started trying on the shoes that I had. Right. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I remember them saying, like, these are really good. So I'm like, oh, great. Like, she knows. Like, think about knowing BOLOs.
Yep.
That is the best way to know BOLOs.
Yep. It's to work. I mean, that's kind of one of the main ways people in any field kind of gets their foot in the door is almost like an apprenticeship, and that's almost kind of what it is. But I like what you said. Maybe there's a certain amount of wisdom in picking people to help you who need the work and want to do the work, but aren't necessarily, like that's not the life they want because it is a specific life, right?
And
So,
that's right. That's it.
yeah.
It's a lifestyle. Like if you want to level up, especially if you want to go to full time, like it has to be something you love. You got to love the process. If you're just about the money, you're going to be miserable.
Like any job, right? Like you want to find something that you enjoy doing and um, gives you some sense of meaning and I think for a lot of people, like okay, so there's the hunt, that's exciting. There's something about being your own boss. There's something about, kind of controlling your time. That's exciting. That's good. There's something about having more free time and ability with your family, right? Like all of those things are good. And you might not enjoy every step of it along the way, but there's something about those things that are enticing that I feel, you know,
But it's not for
make it worth it.
everyone.
Exactly. And it's not.
I thought about that the other day because I went, my kids still go to school, and I remember driving on campus and picking up my kids, and I go, I had a lot of pressure when I was a vice principal, but
Mm,
a lot of things were taken care of,
right.
right? It wasn't all on me, right? If I needed to be, an hour late, that was okay,
Mm,
because I could always make up the time later, and I could always ask my assistant, "Hey, can you just hold phone calls and reschedule these meetings because I got to take care of something."
yeah.
Right? But
You don't have sick time and paid vacation
yeah, I thought
and a
about that.
401k and insurance and
Are you trying to like take me back to the 9 to 5?
no, but I'm saying like there are the benefits to that. I mean, I have this theory that you give up, and we talked about it actually on one of our episodes where somebody asked about like Amazon like taking data. Like there's this idea that you give up a certain amount of freedom for comfort, or you give up a certain amount of comfort for
Yes,
freedom, right? And it's this balance that you have. And so, yeah, there might be some comforts that come with the 9 to 5, but you lose other freedoms. And then there's freedoms that you get by not having that, but you lose some of the comforts. And you have to know what's best for you and your situation and what works and what you're willing to sacrifice and what is it you'd prefer?
I agree, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like I love the freedom of being a full
Mm,
time reseller. I will say it's a lot of pressure. Like I shared with you everything going on right now,
yep.
and I knew it was going to be tough, and I know it's going to be tough till December 18th, and it
Mm,
may be tough after that. But right now, I'm in this place. Like I said, I want my eBay to scale, and I want my Amazon to scale, and I know that next year I am definitely going to have to hire people to do Amazon for me
mm,
too, right? And I know next year I'm probably going to have to do some wholesale and find other avenues and other income streams. So just keep growing.
yep. Gotta grow.
So that's my random story.
Cool. Oh, you want to hear my random story?
Do you guys want to hear Mike's random story? All right. I didn't hear anything, so go for it.
Okay, we'll assume their silence means yes. All right, here we
All
go.
right.
So, okay, kind of interesting one. I had a back and forth with a guy about a radio that I was selling. I picked it up at a garage sale for $4, and I think I ended up selling it for like 45 or 50, something like that. It was
Oh,
pretty
nice.
good ROI. But like he'd make an offer to me, and like he had a question in a message in the offer, and it was like, does the volume, is it scratchy? Does it work? And my response, I responded back with a counter offer because he was asking, us too low. Okay. So I countered at something more reasonable, and I respond like, yes, the volume works. And then he comes back at basically something I'm willing to accept, and then says, I will take your offer, but I need to know that the volume works. And so I responded, and instead of
What in the
and instead
world?
of accepting his offer, I sent back his offer again at the same value that he had, so that he knows like somehow he's not getting my message. I said, "Yes, it works, right?" And then he responds back, and he's like, "Again, I will only accept your offer if." And so finally, I just accepted his offer because he sent me an offer.
Okay.
So I accept it, and then I send him a message now that I can actually send a message to him because he bought an item from me, and I'm like, "Yes, the volume works. Don't worry, it's great. It sounds good." And then his response is, "Great. Make sure to wrap this item up really, 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 really well because our post office out here," and he names the city,
I love those messages.
destroys items. And I'm like, "Oh, that's rough." And I believe it. I
Destroys.
believe it because here's my personal experience with that. I might have mentioned the one where the UPS guy, I think it was UPS, would throw the box full of baby food, baby jar glass food over our fence
I
and
remember
just
you
shatter
saying
them.
that.
Okay, so that was one.
That is still wild to me.
That it's
Like he must have heard it.
like we're
Right?
inside and we hear the crash and then like run outside and he's like jogging away from the house, you
Oh
know.
my.
And we have a beware of dog sign because you can't see. It's a wood like gate and fence. And we have a dog that lays back there. And so like he's throwing this heavy box over the fence. Like if my dog was right there, like
Oh
so
man.
that's really sad. But here's one that was kind of a little bit more funny. At an apartment complex or a condo that I'd lived at several years before, there was like a walkway to get to our door, and you had to like zigzag a couple of times to get to our door, and there was a couple
Okay.
of others that branched off, and we would get stuff broken all the time. And so one day we've got the door open and like the screen door's closed, and we just hear this box slam against the screen door and land on the floor. And so we're standing right by the door, so we just like pop our head around and look, and the lady is like a good 40 feet away, 30 feet away. I don't know, she's really far away at where like the zigzag starts. So she doesn't want to walk the whole way. And she had just been
Oh my
throwing
goodness.
the boxes to
That
our
is so
front door.
obnoxious.
It was crazy, right? So like, yeah, I could see why somebody would be a little bit concerned, especially if you're a post office
I have
person.
never. So okay, let me explain something. So I always tell people when they ask me like, should I put fragile stickers on my box? I tell them no.
No, don't do that. Oh, here's another one. I know you got.
Wait, let me.
Nope,
Can I
nope.
finish my
Yep,
thought?
yep.
I didn't
Okay,
even finish
finish
my
yours.
thought. But I think you're gonna go along the same lines. It's because your item should be packed so well that it doesn't need a fragile sticker. And if it has is it fragile or fragile?
Don't say fragile. That sounds weird.
Okay. If it has a fragile sticker, it's gonna bring attention to it, right? And you're gonna, I don't know. I just feel that like you're throwing out something, going, "Hey, this is fragile," you know. And some people will be very courteous and treat it better, and others are gonna be like, "Haha, this is fragile."
Some are rude. Yeah, we had a.
Okay, tell me what you're gonna say now.
So
Sorry.
we got an envelope, like a hard, you know how like I don't even know what they're called, like the cardboard envelopes, you
The
know?
flat rate ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that, with pictures in it that somebody sent us, and it said on there a couple times, "Please do not bin pictures inside."
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
We got
before.
that back, that envelope, bent in half, and then bent the other way in half. So somebody
Oh
literally
my.
bent it twice, both directions, so the pictures were completely creased because it said, "Do not." I bet you.
You think it was malicious?
Oh yeah, if it did not say "Please do not bend," nobody would have bent it. It was
Okay.
like, "Oh, don't bend," sure, right? Like somebody was just having a bad day and took it out
But
on
you
my
know,
envelope.
it is all like kind of automated, right? Like it goes through the conveyor belt, and maybe it got stuck somewhere. And
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm just saying, conspiracy
I
here.
don't believe that.
Okay, all right. So
But that's a good thing, I think, to talk about this idea of packaging because we've got a video on
we
that,
do, but we'll
right?
talk about that later.
All right.
It's related to one of our current topics. Was that your whole story?
That was it.
Okay, that's good though. I what I will say is this: is that you always have to pack as if people are not going to treat your items well. Okay, let me share a quick story. Can I share a quick story? Do we have time?
I don't know. Let's ask the listeners.
Do we want to go 3 hours?
Oh, please.
No, we're not going to go 3 hours. No. So one of my first major sales was destroyed. And the reason being is I didn't pack it well. So I bought this golf lamp and it was hideous. Like I would never have bought it. Like had I known what I had known, that it would sit forever. I want to say probably like 7 months. And it was in my office. And you know, there's some items that are in thrift stores that look like antique or look cool. And then there's some items that just look like they're thrift store items.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
So I bought this lamp and I thought I packed it really tight. You know, I put it in a box, and this is before I learned about floating boxes. Okay. And so when I packed this lamp, I put a bunch of peanuts in there and I didn't even fill the whole thing up. It was like filled up like 3/4. Okay. And it was able to move. But I thought I did a good job. And I'm like, you know what? People are going to handle this just fine. Right. They're not going to toss it. They're not going to whatever. And I think if it was never jostled, like it was just taken how it was.
So somebody like delicately moved it.
Yes, the whole way, it would have been fine.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. Well,
That's a big what if.
I was new to reselling. Okay. So, And I'm sure I'm not the only one that has experienced, or maybe I am, okay? And I'll never forget, like, I was so excited that it sold. I think it sold for like $100, right? And as a new reseller, like, that was a big deal. Like, that was one of my first big sales. And I remember packing it, and I was so excited. I was supposed to get from San Diego to Florida. Again, I'm not processing all this, like what it takes to get from San Diego to Florida. And the guy paid, I think, like $50 to pack it.
Ooh.
Okay, so I also thought, cool, I'm gonna save some money on shipping, right? Make some money on shipping.
Which means this guy really wanted this lamp. If he spent that kind of money on it.
You're right.
So like, and it's probably one of a kind, and he's probably like, yes, finally somebody has it.
So let me picture how I wrap this, okay?
Heartbroken.
All right, so I had, wait, I didn't finish yet. So it was a golf lamp, okay? So let's say it's about, I don't know, 4 feet tall, okay? And, from bottom to top.
That's a big lamp.
With the lamp, with the lampshade. If you remove the lampshade, you lose like 2 feet or something. And so I bubble wrapped it, I think twice, and I put it amongst these peanuts, and I put it in a box, and like I taped the box around, but I didn't, like I said, I didn't put enough peanuts for it to stay in one place. So you kind of get a little shake, and you'd hear it move. For whatever reason, I thought it was good to go. So days later come, and this guy messages me, and he goes, just to let you know, this lamp has been destroyed. And I'm like, explain to me what you mean by destroyed. He goes, let me send you some pictures. So he literally sent me pictures that looked as if it was rubble. Like you couldn't even tell it was a lamp anymore. It was just rubble in the box. Like seriously, it looked like somebody just like took it over their head and just like kept smashing it until it was completely destroyed.
Yeah, so that's he paid $150 for a lampshade.
Correct. and
some rubble.
The lampshade made it okay.
There you go.
Now, I will say eBay buyers are very forgiving. I know a lot of people slam eBay buyers, but I will tell you, for the most part, I believe 99% of them are good people. Because this guy could have been really mean to me for a good reason. And he said, hey, things happen. I didn't share with him how terribly I packed. I think he probably would have known.
You probably saw.
He probably saw.
There weren't enough peanuts in there.
So he messaged me back. He goes, hey, no problem. It happens. And I didn't insure it either. Which, again, new seller. Like, I wasn't thinking it through. You're looking at me, but you got this all down. Like, Mike is a step above.
At packing. No,
there you go.
Not. For sure, I'm not.
So, lesson in all this was, if it's a fragile item, you have to pack as if somebody's going to go crazy with it.
Yeah. Because you never know.
So had I had the ability to repack this, like go back in time, I would have definitely bubble wrapped it multiple times. I would have definitely put it in a box and then floated the box. You know what I mean by floated the box?
I do, yeah. So you got a box the item is tight, close inside this box that's already padded, and then you put that inside another box, and then you pad around that.
Correct.
Yeah. Good.
And so it's floating inside the box, but it's not like floating. It's tight inside the box.
Yeah, you don't want the movement, but it's just that extra layer of insulation between boxes. Yeah, so it's good. And if you're shipping something like mugs, which I think is kind of a big deal right now, right?
We're going to talk about that a little bit. Let's get to the current topics.
Which first one?
Oh, Muglife.
Muglife.
Oh, you're right. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Segue here. This guy does not get it.
I'm sorry, I missed it. Okay, let's talk about Muglife.
Wait, we're gonna get there.
We're here now.
Oh, okay. Here we are. Muglife.
Okay. You know what? I think it's late. I think this is the mic of the late hour. So, all right. So I want to talk about Muglife, and this is why I want to talk about Muglife. So we've talked about Gary Vee's Trash Talk show, and it's pretty popular and it's well done. And on Instagram, I'm seeing all kinds of people hashtag Muglife or like, hey, I found this mug. And the reason being is that Gary Vee is very big on mugs. So every episode, and he's at 3, he's always going around and finding mugs. And he's like, Muglife, Muglife, Muglife. And it's pretty hilarious. And I see this Muglife, and then I see people saying, hey, I picked this mug up. And Gary Vee saying, hey, I found this mug for 50 cents and I sold it for $10. And it's incredible ROI. Don't get me wrong. Like that's fire ROI. But there's another part of me, that goes, there's a lot behind mugs. Right? Do you kind of get where I'm going here?
Tell me more.
Awkward silence. Okay.
Tell me more.
So I want to encourage people that mug life is about the right mug life.
Yeah, yeah, honestly, okay, so, like, it's the same thing when I first started, like, there's this idea of, like, Orlando would tell me, like, "Okay, these types of items are, like, a hot ticket item, they sell really well," right? And so then every time I'd see, a this or that or whatever the item was at a garage sale, I'd just buy it, like, even without much research or much because it was like, "Well, these items are really hot right now." Like, I think one of them was, like, what? Snapback hats, right? So it's like,
Correct.
okay, so, like, anytime I saw a snapback hat, I was like, "Oh, this is kinda vintage looking, it's cool, I'm buying it," right? And I'm buying all these hats, and then I realized, like, oh, like, that that phase has kinda come and gone a little bit, and maybe there's still some money in the right ones, but not every single snapback hat is the right one. I think it's the same thing with mugs,
It
right?
is. And that's one of the things I want to point out because you have to remember listing a $5 item or a $10 item for the most part is going to be the same as listing a $100 item,
Mm,
right? So if you find a mug that's worth $10, it's going to be the same for a mug that's worth $40 or $50, right? Or you can talk about other items, right? You could spend the same amount of time listing a mug that will make you, let's say it's a mug you picked up. And again, we all got to start somewhere. Don't get me wrong. Like I was very much into mug life. I still am into mug life. And one of the first big sales I had were mugs,
mm,
right? So I remember, have you ever seen those ugly face mugs?
yeah, yep, I know what you're
Right?
talking about. Mhm,
Like right now, the market's not as great as
mhm,
it was, but I remember I would pick up ugly face mugs. So if let me picture what that looks like. So it usually would be a mug that would have some kind of eyes on. They're like pottery kind of,
yep,
and they had like they look like googly eyes, but they weren't googly eyes.
mhm,
And they some of the characters like Bucktooth or they had big mustaches or they're cowboys. I remember I'd pick them up. I actually had one time where somebody bought two of them for me. I paid 50 cents for each of them, and they each sold for $50. And this was like 4 years ago, and the market was hot. And so I ended up building a lot of capital off of mugs. But I also had a mug like this Tweety Bird mug. I actually put an Insta feed
mhm.
post on this. I bought this Tweety Bird mug and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna get this for 50 cents and I'm gonna sell it for, $20. And at that time, a few sold, but not many sold.
Mm.
Mike, I had that mug for I want to say I think 5 to 6 years.
Yeesh.
Maybe it was four, but I want to say it was probably 5 to 6.
Did it sell?
No, it never sold. And actually, when I was gonna do the Insta post about it, I went to go look for it and it was gone. Like I don't even know where it went.
So if it were to sell right now,
Oh yeah, I'd be in a mess. I'd have to do some kind of drop ship, like buy it from somebody else and ship it to their address.
ugh,
So I pulled the listing, right? But what I want to, to me, I want to make sure we're positive that, like, hey, if you're finding mugs and it works for you, keep doing it. Like that's okay, but also do the research. Make sure you're finding the right mugs. You find a mug that's an Apple mug, or you find a mug that's like vintage and brings you some kind of money. It's a company mug, or it's a Starbucks like specialty mug, or it's a Disney mug. Like there's good mugs out there, but you got to remember that your time is valuable too,
mm,
right? And sometimes it's better to be about the snackback life, or it's better to be about the shoe life, or the Harley shirt life, which even that market's
mm.
saturated, right? Or be about the Hawaiian shirt life, or whatever it is, because again, you got to find those items that it's worth it to you to invest that time, right?
Yeah, but all those things don't sound as cool as mug life.
No, mug life. I
Mug
kind of, I
life?
kind of feel like I should say like, should have had that mug life tatted on my chest.
Yeah,
All right. Anyways, so
straight mug life.
mug life. So we don't want to discourage people from mug life. We just want you to do the right mug life.
Yeah, speaking of mug life, we got a video.
Okay, so this is how strongly we feel about this. That like if mug life is working for you and you are definitely finding mugs and you feel it's worth your time and you're getting capital and you're growing your business, we want to help you. Right? So what do we got lined up here for our listeners?
All right, so we've got a video that
It sounds
will
like we're
be-
selling something. We're not selling anything.
This is free. Yeah. No. This is going to be up on YouTube either today or tomorrow, or maybe it's already up. It just depends on when this podcast release. But this video, go check it out. If it's not up yet, it'll be up tomorrow. It is going to be cool. So we are going to teach you how to pack and ship a mug cheaply, right? Safely, and we're going to have some fun with this mug in ways you can't even imagine.
It's going to be mug life.
It's straight mug life.
So let's talk about the video a little bit. So there's different ways to ship mugs, right? And some cost more than others. And so we're gonna try to find. Well, we're not gonna try. We know a way. And the only reason I know this is because other resellers have done this.
Yeah. But we talk about that in the video, so you're gonna have to watch it.
That is true. But I just want to be clear that what we did is we didn't reinvent the wheel. We just made the wheel different.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
We're just giving you another wheel.
Yeah, well, it's the same wheel, but we wanted to produce a video that provided you the tools necessary to be able to ship something for a good price and keep it safe.
Keep it safe.
So check it out. It'll be on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Right. We are Pure Hustle Podcast on YouTube. And
Look
when you
us
get
up.
to that video, it would be awesome if you like and subscribed.
Yeah. No,
And
our
even
subscribers are going up. We really appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you, YouTube. It's awesome.
Yeah. And again,
Different
that's
world.
because of Craigslist Center. You know, we went from what, 200 subscribers to like I think we're over 500 and maybe 550.
Yeah.
So it's been awesome. And you know what happens with that sometimes is we get a lot of people that watch and you kind of forget to hit that thumbs up, right? But the people that want to hit that thumbs down, they remember, right? We got a few there. So we would really appreciate if you hit that thumbs up, right? If you think we brought you value. And if you only listen to the podcast and you don't watch the YouTube, it'd be awesome if you took a little journey into our YouTube and just go, you know, I enjoyed that podcast. I'm going to thumb up it over here.
Yeah, even if you're just interested to see what do these guys look like?
I don't know if you want to go down that road.
What do these yahoos look like when they're in the studio talking about all this stuff?
So Muglife, check out the video. I think you'll enjoy it.
Muglife.
I hope you find value and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good stuff.
I'm pumped about the video.
Oh man.
It's a little nostalgic too.
It was amazing.
Like when you watch it, you'll know what I'm talking about.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be one of the best how-to videos you've ever seen.
How to pack a mug video. So there's not many out there. So hopefully we're doing all right.
Make it into like the top 100 how to pack a mug video.
I think there's only 5. So hopefully in the top 5.
Yes.
All right.
Somewhere up there.
Well, we hope you find value. So hey, keep doing that mug life, but again, do that right mug life.
Yep.
Okay. Another thing I wanted to address was I think we're getting a wave of new resellers. Not saying on our podcast, but just overall. Do you feel that? Do you sense that?
Well, see, here's the problem. I don't have anything to like really relate it to since I'm kind of new to reselling myself. I might be part of the problem. You know, like I'm technically a millennial. You know,
that's
and so
I keep forgetting I'm 39 and you're like in your 20s.
So when people like make comments like, "Oh, you know, the millennials," or whatever, and I kind of like, yeah, I'm not, and then I'm like, wait a minute, like technically, like I'm part of that group, you know. So like whatever you're saying about them, you're saying about me, whatever I say, and so I kind of feel like that with like the new wave of resellers. Like if anybody has anything to say about them, like I'm kind of in that group, so I don't get to judge.
Okay. What I've noticed is, you know, there's like waves in reselling. I guess this is part of the historian in me that kind of detects patterns. There's
always an ebb and flow, a contraction and a expansion in economics. Same thing with
something. There's a curve. Okay. And the reason I bring this up is, you know, I remember years ago, there was a lot of YouTubers, like a lot of YouTubers. And, you know, it was all eBay based too. Very much eBay based. And so what ended up happening is, you okay, Mike?
I'm doing all right.
All right, just checking on.
I was trying to cough off mic so nobody would know, and then you got to call me out.
You just got to be real, right? You got to be real and relevant. It's funny. I always wait when that's going to happen to me because I've had the moments, right? And on a podcast, like you hear everything. So, but he seems to be better.
I'm doing okay now.
Okay, let's get back to the wave of new resellers. So years ago, it was all kinds of YouTube videos, and pretty much they were all eBay. And then, you know, over time, kind of a lot of those YouTubers went away, and I felt that there weren't a lot of new resellers. It was kind of like this. I was kind of that group of new resellers. And after a few years, I was no longer that new reseller. I was kind of that group that kind of stayed around still, right? Because you see a lot of people get fired up about reselling, and they're hustling and they're grinding, and then it's work. Or you find better ways to make money, or you find that this isn't the life you want, and you step away. And now I'm seeing a lot more. And, you know, being an entrepreneur is cool now, right? Right? What did you think of 15 years ago when you thought entrepreneur?
Well, I don't know if
when you were 14.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't know if I had much opinion about entrepreneurs when I was 14. But yeah, no, it's true. Like it is cool now to claim entrepreneur, but before, I think a lot of people would have just thought like, "Oh, so you just don't have a job," right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's how it was. And you always got to remember, when the '08 recession happened, right? I was around during that time. You were around, but how old were you?
Oh,
You were in
yeah,
high school,
I was
right?
out of high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I waited till the market crashed and I bought a house. It was wonderful.
Oh,
I wish I could do that again.
oh man. Well, it might be around the corner sometime.
I'm hoping.
I'm
Well,
hoping after Q4.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
After
We'll wait.
Q4, and then we buy some
Yeah,
houses.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm saying all this because when that recession hit, people always talk about during recessions, artists are the first to starve,
Mm,
right? Because no longer are people wanting that, and I'm kind of sensing a lot of that right now. Like everybody's trying to put, hey, I'm a reseller or I'm an entrepreneur, and I think it's cool and it's hip. I'm so thankful that for the most part, when people ask me what I do, like they have some kind of context.
mm.
I still get the whole like, what do you do? Are you sure? Are you I always tell you, are you okay, Orlando? Like I
Yeah.
always get that.
Well, just wait until like you say, "Well, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a reseller, and I'm a social media activist, or not activist, but social
A
media.
reselling
I'm a
activist.
social media like presence. Like we have a podcast, and people are really going to be like, I don't know, because I hear my students will say stuff like that, like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And they say things like, "Well, I want to be a YouTuber, or I want to be I want to do this kind of things. I want to be a gamer." And parents, a lot of times, they just like eyes go blank, and they're like, "What? Like, there's no way that's a real job." And part of the thing is, it is kind of a changing culture and climate, and there are real jobs in things that kids are doing on social media and with games and all kinds of stuff that just weren't 15 years ago.
No, I agree, and that's what I want to say about reselling is that with this new wave, I want to encourage those of you that are new, that are here. Like it's going to take work. Like we talked about that in our last podcast, habits of a reseller. Is that it's cool to say, hey, I do is selling on eBay or on Amazon, or I had all this, but I want to encourage people too. Like I didn't know everything when I started. Right, I just shared with you my terrible shipping
Yep.
story. And I wanted to bring this up because there's a lot more info now,
Mm.
right? And it's not only like eBay, it's like Amazon, right? There's like all kinds of Amazon or all kinds of. Is there a lot of Poshmark info?
There is, yeah, and I'm gonna keep shouting this person out because my wife is a big fan. But with eBay Princess, right? Like she came out with a little YouTube video or Insta story. It was one or the other, and basically that was kind of what she was saying. Like people were kind of complaining that like, or asking like, how long did it take to get where you're at, or how much work did it take? And then her comment that she made really kind of stuck out to me was, um, if she had than what we have now, like available as far as research abilities and abilities to connect with people. Like you can scale quicker, faster, gain way more, knowledge and stuff. But it doesn't eliminate the work part. Like you still have to put in the work. It's just the opportunities are so much more now. I mean, just think about the fact that you carry around a computer in your pocket. Like smartphones are incredible.
And that's the point I wanted to get to is that my concern is my concern is that there's so much information out there that it kind of gets ignored.
Mm.
Right? Because people, you've seen the DMs like what's somebody you recommend or what's a
Mm.
video you recommend. And luckily, I watched a ton. I mean,
Mm.
I probably spend at least 2 hours of my day either listening to a reselling podcast or watching a YouTube video, and then on social media there's a lot of information. So what I want to say is I want to encourage all the new resellers is go and don't just follow the new people. Follow those that have been in the game for a long time,
Mm.
like Craigslist Hunter, okay, like Rally Roots, like there's Reagan Profit and Bonafide Hustler. There's a lot of people. There's Global Voodoo. There's a lot of people that have been doing this for a long time, and they're not, they're still out there. They're still producing videos, and everybody's caught up in this cool wave, I think,
Mm.
of like, hey, there's only, I only need to watch a few people. And then I see this on the Instagram, like people are asking very basic questions,
Mm.
like, how do I make sure that my shipping's okay? Or how do I
Mm.
ship this package? Or like the videos are there,
Mm.
right? There are people that have gone before you, Hearts Pickers, Golden Finger Picker. Like there's a lot of people out there that have gone before you and put out awesome content, and you just got to be out there. So I want to encourage the new resellers that we're available
Mhm.
and we're always there for you guys, but there's also so much more info out there for you too. So you good with that?
I'm good with that.
Okay, so that was my topic. I just see this wave, and there's so much more content out there. So, okay. So last one, and I don't want to belabor this point. You look concerned. Are you concerned?
Yeah. I feel like we've talked about this one.
Okay. All right. Well, all I want to say is this: is that I think the landscape of big box stores, as far as RA, is changing.
Hmm.
You know what I mean by RA, right? We've
Yeah,
defined
retail
it. Okay,
arbitrage,
retail
yeah.
arbitrage. Because what I'm finding is, and I came across this last week, is that before they used to like ban people like from buying stuff on Target.com or Walmart. And I actually had some orders that weren't even big orders.
Mm.
So I kind of space my orders out when I do online arbitrage. So I'll order maybe 50 items one day, 50 another day, 50 another day. Where before I used to order 300 units in a day in order not to bring any red flags. But it seems that like Walmart and Target are kind of one and the same when it comes to online arbitrage, because I had some items that were canceled. And then on top of that, we also have the issue of, and we talked about this last podcast, but I kept running into managers this last week that were telling me that there's a lot of things being stolen. And
it's crazy.
so anyways, what I want to say is this, is that, you just got to think of different ways, right, to source.
And it's weird too, even with the online arbitrages. There was a BOLO item that we were trying to get, and we found a store that had a few in stock. So it was a limit to. So my wife orders 2, and then I order 2 online. Okay, so we have 2 separate cards, separate names, right? Like it's all separate. Hers were done. Her order was done first. My order was done several minutes after. She gets an email from Target a few minutes later that they didn't have the items in stock after all. They're going to have to cancel the order. They're so sorry about that. And that was that, right? Like no rain check or anything like that. Just like, we don't have it. Sorry, we can't fulfill your order. So I'm thinking, oh, well, I'm going to get that same email. Nope. I get an email like a half hour later. Your order's ready to be picked up.
Huh.
So like, I don't know what made them choose to like fill my order and not hers when hers was first. So that I feel like there wasn't really justice there, even though it goes to the same person. But like now I know like you could put in an order like that and think that you're gonna get it, and then they say they're out, but they weren't really out, but they gave it to somebody who ordered after you. Like that is not right, man. That's messed up.
No, I agree. I agree. But then again, you don't know, it's kind of like Hunger Games. Like, how are people chosen? Right? I don't know.
It should be the first person to put the order in gets it.
Yeah, but
it's easy.
We don't live in that society anymore.
We don't live like it's a computer, right? Like it's like the order comes in, receipt comes out, goes up on the thing, fill that order.
I don't know.
Then the next one comes.
Anyways,
let's
we just got to figure out ways, right? I mean, there's always a way to hustle and do what you need to do to get those results. All right. So another thing I just wanted to share with is, I've known a lot of the thrift store community, like managers and people that work at thrift stores. And it's interesting because, I would say in the last few months, right, we've talked about the rising Goodwill prices and we've talked about how different stores are making themselves more boutique. And what I'm hearing, and again, this is all hearsay, okay? This isn't official news. This isn't a declaration by Goodwill, but what I've heard from, managers is that, there's been a I think they're feeling the backlash from resellers, right?
Because resellers have to be a huge part of their revenue. Right?
Correct.
So when you lose that group or you upset that group, I mean, that's kind of a good thing. It kind of goes to show that as resellers, our buying power is significant, right? So like even big box stores at some point are going to have to realize that if a large percentage of their income is coming in from people buying in order to resell, well, they're still making their money, and that's a significant part of their bottom line.
And that's actually what one manager I talked to told me. He goes, no, you keep the lights on for us. You pay our electricity. You got to understand that we're very big on letting those above us know that we need resellers in our stores. And so some of them, have communicated that there may be things down the pipe about helping us resellers. I don't know what that means. That could mean that we'll get, I know in the Midwest they have that. They don't have that here, but like discount cards if you're a frequent buyer.
That would be awesome.
We don't have that here. I know in the Midwest Walmart had some cards. Remember when I was out there? I know Savers has like a 30% off card. But I think they're looking at the direction. I can't guarantee it because this is hearsay from some people that I know. That sounds so terrible. Like there's nothing official. It's just like I heard down the street that this is happening.
Somebody that I know heard somebody else tell somebody something.
Yeah, I know.
That I think is going to happen.
I just was encouraged because
that's awesome.
That's good, and it's good to know that managers out there recognize that, hey, we're important to the business. Like I want to help these stores.
Yeah.
Right. Because they provide a lot of the items that I end up reselling.
Yep.
So why would we not go out our way?
Agreed.
And Goodwill, if you ever want to sponsor us, we are here.
Yeah. Right. Like if you're wanting to say like, you know what, let's capitalize on the resale community. Talk to Pure Hustle Podcast.
We're here for you.
We will buy your stuff and sell it and tell the world about how great it is selling stuff at Goodwill.
There you go.
But as of now, you're not sponsoring us. So if you're listening to this, my fellow resellers, shop wherever you want, right?
Oh my goodness. All right. What if Target was our sponsor one day? Wouldn't that be incredible?
That would be the most ironic thing.
We'd have to like delete some podcasts or something.
Or like we could come around and we could be like the converts, like Target is the best for reselling.
Get like a Target tattoo on your arm right there.
Ooh, that's expensive real estate right there.
That would be. There's ways you could work with that. Anyways, all right. We're losing our audience here. Okay. You know what? I think it's time to talk about our hustles of the week.
Hustle of the week. Here we go. All right.
Wow. Really?
Well, I know
we go through such extensive, awesome audio, and that's the sound effect we have.
Yeah. Well, see, I would add in some cool sound effects there, but then that would mean I'd have to listen to the entire podcast as I'm editing it. And I like to listen to it when it's done in the car, driving, and I want to get it edited and out to our listeners faster.
Yeah, and we all want you guys to know, like, when we record, like, we don't remove stuff.
Yeah.
All right? What you get is raw.
It's raw.
It's raw, so I hope that's okay.
I think they know it's raw. I think it's pretty evident. So? Yeah.
Wait, let's use a different word. It's organic.
It's organic. Yeah, see, it doesn't, I hope it doesn't have that, like, scripted news anchor feel to it. No, where we're reading off teleprompters.
Like when Mike gives me a look like, let's not talk about that. That's real.
It's real.
That's very real.
And I try to give the look when he's not being relevant.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
And it's not about reselling.
Wow.
See how
okay.
That was pretty good. All right.
That was pretty good.
So,
okay.
Hustles, do I have to do the sound effect again or can I just go right into it?
No, we're good. But all right. These are different resellers from our IG community, but there's different ways to reach out to us with your hustle of the week. Right? We're also on Twitter. We're Pure Hustle Cast. You can also give us a call, 619-738-1170. You can also leave us a comment on YouTube, right? Like, subscribe, follow us. We are Pure Hustle Podcast. And we're also on Facebook. But, I would say if you're on Facebook, you should jump on the Instagram train and follow us on Instagram.
Maybe I need to jump on the Facebook train. Maybe I should be more active on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, we have some awesome people on Facebook. I don't know what it is, but Facebook doesn't get that traction like Instagram right now.
Interesting. Yeah. So you said there's a lot of ways to do it. I think DMing is how a lot of people are sending it to us, but it'd be way cooler. So we get to as many of these as we can. We can't get to all of them, but like if you've got a hustle a week, you're probably pretty proud of it, right? Because like you bought something, you kind of want to help the community out. So post it in your feed, right? Like put it in there and just tag us and put maybe like a little thing that says like, hey, Pure Hustle Podcast. Here's my hustle of the week. That way all of your friends can see what you sold. Even if we don't get a chance to get to it, like we could at least comment and maybe shout you out on an Insta story. There's other ways we can get it out there. DMing is great, but we like to share with the world, man.
Yeah, I agree. And again, when we had a smaller number of listeners and, smaller following on Instagram, I sound like we're blowing up, but it was easier, right? And now we get a whole lot more hustles of the week. So now we have to kind of like sort through them and go, okay, which ones do we want to make the hustles of the week? So, we apologize. We're not trying to like step on anybody's toes. And I'd say it wasn't an awesome hustle of the week, right? It's just, we don't want to make it a marathon, right? Maybe one day we should do a marathon podcast.
Or these ideas never end up coming to fruition, but I got an idea for down the road. for hustle of the week. If this keeps building and people have these hustles, because again, the idea is to share them, right?
Correct.
So tell me if this is a good idea.
It shares two things. It applauds the accomplishments of awesome resellers,
Yep.
and then it gives us things to aspire to or to look out for or want to do.
Yeah, and because we all know with those kinds of rare, bolos, like if your hustle of the week is like some rare knick-knack antique thing, chances of you ever finding one of those exact same things again, probably pretty low. But maybe another reseller in another state who sees it, and because they saw your hustle of the week and they know like, oh, that's that thing. So you're helping other people out, and then hopefully you're getting the same thing from other people. So I think it's beneficial. It's not like, you're sharing, hey, here's the hot toy at Target, but it's like, here's something that you might find once or twice in a lifetime that you might not know is a big thing, but now you know it's a big thing. But here's an idea. What if we like created like some kind of a weekly or monthly like poll where like people submit and then like they get voted on by like our Instagram followers. And then like at the end of the week, like the top like 3, like what was the biggest hustle of the week?
Huh.
And then so it's like a vote.
Maybe down the road.
So let us know if you think that's a good idea. Like, I don't know, DM us or tell us or something. All right, here we go. So here's the first one. So Taylor, whose Instagram handle is at First Edition Collectible, is a Canadian reseller. So cool that we have people outside of the US listening to us.
Oh, I think it's incredible.
That's awesome. So lives near a value village, which I guess is similar to a Savers. We don't have Savers here.
We don't.
So
it's really sad. I love Savers.
I've never been to one. Is it like a Salvation Army? Is it like a Goodwill?
I would say it's more like Goodwill.
Okay.
And they have good stuff. I mean, I think our closest is maybe Marietta or somewhere out there, like Elsinore, somewhere in that area.
I'll have to check one out. Okay, so going to a Valley Village, goes there every day. Goes there every day. This is, let me just say, this is a tip that you should be doing every day. You should be going to places because you'll be surprised. It's like, yeah, you know everything that's in that store, but then that makes it quicker for you to go through and check everything because you can see the new stuff. And you never know when that new shipment comes in. You want to be there when that
Agreed.
That hustle's there.
A consistency will end up providing opportunities.
Absolutely.
Orlando's quote of the week.
Orlando has a quote of the week?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, times are changing.
They are. All right, keep going.
All right, so goes there every day and picks up a pair of Gucci shoes for 25 Canadian dollars.
But doesn't go there every day and picks up a pair of Gucci shoes.
Goes there every day and one of these days picks up a pair of Gucci shoes for 25 Canadian dollars, which I think is I don't know the exchange rate, but
I'm
it's
not
good.
going there.
There we go. So 25 Canadian dollars with a potential profit of $400, 400 Canadian dollars. 25 to 400. That is incredible ROI. But has also found quite a few other shoes, including other Gucci shoes, some Nike shoes, and sold a Sony Flamingo turntable. That
Have you ever seen those?
I haven't. Taylor picked one up for free and sold for $350.
So let me explain those. They're like these turntables that stand up, and they're vertical.
Okay.
And they're pretty awesome. I mean, look it up. All right, I probably didn't do it justice, but
Flamingo.
Yeah, they're money. Like, remember, that was sold for $350.
Okay.
As
parts only. Yeah. So it wasn't even working. $350. So I'm going to be looking out for Sony Flamingo turntables. Again, one of those things that you might not have had any idea that that's worth money, and now you know.
And so that is Taylor. First Edition Collectibles on Instagram. That's who
Check them out.
That's who Taylor is.
Follow Taylor.
Okay, that's incredible. And actually, did you mention that the other reseller that was there also found some Gucci shoes and some off-white Nikes?
Nice.
Isn't that incredible? I just was like, oh, I mean, the odds of me ever finding like that on a thrift store are like none.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. I'd like to see some Gucci's.
I don't know. I'd have a hard time picking them up. I have a hard time, like Gucci and Coach, and because there's a whole,
don't know
like,
if it's fake or not.
Yeah, I know. But
oh, did you see what eBay's doing potentially with, or maybe it's not a new thing, but with it where they'll authenticate bags?
No, I know there's websites that do that.
Okay, so eBay's got this thing where you can send a bag to them, so it goes to their warehouse.
eBay.
eBay.
Okay.
So it goes to their warehouse. They authenticate it that it's a real bag. They list it, but I guess the issue that I've kind of seen with
Oh, it's
that,
like eBay's valet service.
right? The problem though is they control the pricing, so you don't get to pick what it's listed for.
Oh, that's
They pick the
terrible.
pricing of the listing, and they'll drop so that they basically have the easy pricing turned on. So every 5 days or whatever, it's dropping,
I couldn't do it.
and if it doesn't sell, then it gets sent back to you. So, but at least, I mean, one nice thing with that is maybe you send it, you get it authenticated through eBay. Hopefully it sells, and if it does end up coming back to you, at least you've got some kind of paper trail saying like this is an authentic
Can you
bag.
like send it in and then go, never mind?
Oh wait, can I get that bag back, please? Now that it's been authenticated.
Maybe. All right, hey, how about I have a last minute hustle of the week I wanted to add on here that we didn't talk about. So
Let's see it.
okay, well, how about you want to do the second one? Let's do the second.
All right. So we got Diego, who is at Diego Rodriguez 19 on Instagram. Follow him. Picked up a book at a garage sale for $5. I love books. I've got a lot of books.
You are an English teacher.
I am an English teacher, but I haven't bought very many books at garage sales yet. So this
Okay,
person
read the
buys
title
one
of the
for
book
$5.
though.
Title of the book is Juliana Jewelry Reference, DeLisa and Elster Identification and Price Guide, hardcover.
Take a look at the price though.
So it's originally listed at $499.99.
Wait, what?
$499.99. Holy smokes. Okay, so $5. Man, I need to start scanning more books. I'm really considering getting one of those scanners. Bloop, bloop, bloop,
See, but
bloop.
here's the thing. Like when he shared this with me, I was kind of in shock because I remember picking up a book one time and it was going for $5,000 on Amazon. Right? I picked it up for like $5 and I'm like, what is going on? And then the price kept dropping and dropping.
Was it like only one and somebody just posted?
Well, what happens is on Amazon is people want to hold that place or they run out of that stock, so they put the price really high so nobody tries to buy it. Well, that's what this robotic. Now, I did sell this robotics book, I think eventually for $100. But, you know, I think I would have done the same. I would have looked at this and go, oh, it's just somebody trying to hold it out. I would have dropped the price, right? Now, he did negotiate with the customer and he gave it to the customer for less. So he kind of like did a best offer, I guess.
Right.
Changed the price after he contacted him. But wow.
Hey, $5 to anything more than $5 is amazing, especially if it's anywhere near $499.99.
Yeah, actually, I think it was I think he worked it down to $299.99. But still, that is like insane.
And then do you know how many books you could buy with that? You could buy a lot of books. Remember your whole story of like you got a box of books and then you sold them.
The CDs.
CDs, yeah. And then some of that money bought this thing, which bought this thing, which bought, right? Like, imagine what you can turn that $5 book into with a little bit of hard work.
That's incredible. So Diego Rodriguez 19, nice hustle.
At Instagram, follow him.
Okay. All right. So I want to talk, okay, so quick, ship quick. Like
they're awesome.
They are, aren't they?
They're amazing.
They're always in contact with us all the time. And they put out some pretty, I mean, not pretty, like really motivating content.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it's encouraging. Sometimes it's real. And so if you haven't had a chance to follow them, I would definitely follow them. And I know the story behind this typewriter because I was working with them through the whole process. So let me share this one a little bit. So they're Hugo or Hugo. I think it's Hugo though, but please forgive me, Hugo. And Tiffany. They're an awesome couple, and they're based in California, and I'm actually probably going to go to lunch with them in a few weeks. And they picked up a vintage IBM typewriter. Okay, but they didn't just, they were just walking by. They were about to pay, and Hugo, like, takes off and comes back with the typewriter. And they buy it. And I don't think they paid a lot. I think they paid maybe it was like $10 or $20 for it. And they actually had it at auction. And they sold it for $99. And you're like, hey, that's an awesome flip. And it was $50 shipping. Well, what do you think happened?
Customer didn't pay.
Oh, yeah. By the way, when's that happening? Immediate payment?
That would be so amazing. Oh.
I hope this happens. eBay, if you're listening to us, Griff, right? He's an old school eBay guy.
Yeah.
Like, if you're listening to us, let somebody know, like, immediate payment. Like, it needs to happen.
It would be really nice.
Right? It's Q4, right? Like, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, getting back to the story. So, the buyer didn't pay. And I remember Hugo DMing me going like, I packed this whole thing already. Like, it's ready to go. And the person never paid. And so they put it and they put it at buy it now, best offer, and it sold
At the full price?
at 348.88.
See, that just goes to show sometimes what's a bad situation can turn out into a good situation, and it works into the idea of patience. And sometimes you got to be patient, and that's one of those habits that you need to have. And if you know the value of something, hey, we're not saying don't take an offer if it's lower than you wanted, if it's, a good offer and you might not be getting anything else, you need that inventory space. Like sometimes that flip quick is good, but hey, when you can hold on and turn a $99 profit into a $348, that's worth it. That's good.
That is a big deal. And it was already packed. So how nice is that?
Yes.
You get the nice
Oh.
sale and it's already packed and then you just move on.
Yeah, so all of that frustration you had of now I've got this item packed, I wasted my time. Then later on down in the future, you get to like, oh, I've saved so much time because it's packed. So like the negative emotion turns into a positive emotion
Yep.
later. You just got to wait for it.
I remember when he sold it, I think they were like in Disneyland or something in line. Think about how nice that feels.
Yeah, you're already at like the happiest place on earth, and then
you're just gonna be more happy.
Ching! Oh, it sold full price.
Oh, so incredible.
That's great. Yeah.
All right, we have another local hustle of the week.
Another one?
Yeah, and this is last minute because this is actually from Garage Sales this morning. And so there is West Coast Goods. So it's on Instagram, handle name is West_Coast_Goods. And he's been reselling for a while. He's been actually a full-time eBayer since 2007 and Amazon FBA since 2011.
Wow.
That's legit.
OG.
That's OG.
That's OG Muglife right there.
OG Muglife. All right. So he picked up today. Okay. Have you ever heard of Storybook knit sweaters?
Nope.
Okay. So look them up. I mean, they're not like huge money makers, but you can, sell them like pre-owned, like $30 and new north of that,
Nice.
$40, $50. So he picked up, him and his wife picked up 138.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, 138. Okay. And with this 138, okay, he picked them up for an awesome, awesome price. This is ridiculous. He picked up 100. Oh, and a lot of them were new with tags. Okay. 138 for $3.15 each.
Ooh.
Think about the ROI on that.
And
this is a yard sale. This wasn't going into a thrift
and it
store.
makes you wonder,
This
like,
was
why
an
did this
RA.
person have all this stuff in the first place? But I don't care because they do, and now I do. Right? Like,
I don't know.
Sometimes you wonder when you go to places like why they have the items they have to sell. But hey, for that deal, good job, man. That's awesome. And see, I would have had no idea. I mean, if I saw that many of something, I might take the time to look it up. But knowing that, Storybook sweaters are a hot ticket.
Storybook knit sweaters.
Oh, gotta add that knit part in there.
But hey, West_Coast_Goods with a Z at the end instead of an S. That is an awesome hustle. Like that, I haven't had a haul like that in such a long time, and
I haven't had one ever like that, but I will, and it's coming.
Guaranteed.
I can't wait until I can message in my hustle of the week to Pure Hustle Podcast. I mean, I get to do one every week, but they're never as big as like.
Can you DM your own Insta?
I'll use my personal account.
Oh, there you go. I'll go. Wow. Oh, this is Mike. What are you doing?
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. So, anyways, hey, thank you so much. Hey, Taylor from First Edition Collectibles on Instagram. Diego who is Diego Rodriguez 19 on Instagram. Hugo and Tiffany, thank you again for just being awesome friends and just being out there and motivating and inspiring people.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. Want to hang out with you sometime.
It'd be great. They are sell quick, ship quick. Okay, and then we have West_Coast_Goods with the Z at the end. And I'm actually going to go sometime, because he reached out to me and he's like, hey, let's go talk and let's, see where our businesses are at. And I think I'm going to take up his offer in the future. So anyways, but hey, thank you all for sending us your hustle week. Thank you to all of you that sent. There's others that we didn't mention. We are inspired, we're motivated, and we're just thankful that you're sharing your journey with us.
That's awesome. And before I get to mine, a lot of times, like, I'm able to like squeeze in quote of the week, like, and this connects to the quote of the week. but I don't know if I have that perfect transition. So I'm just gonna quote of the week.
Oh
Here it
my
is.
goodness.
All right. So quote of the week, and maybe it does connect to something, but I'm not gonna go for the stretch. This one was actually sent in by a one of our followers on Instagram. So thank you. It's Thrift TV. No,
Thriftstore.tv.
thriftstore.tv.
I'm
That's
gonna
the
look it up
Instagram
right
handle. I want to
now
make sure it's
to
right.
confirm. Anyways, go ahead.
All right. So here was the quote he sent. And I don't know if this is somebody else's quote or if this is his quote, but it's a great quote. And it's this: pick your pain, discipline or regret.
So, explain that out a little bit.
Wait, I just want for a moment that to sink in.
Oh, okay.
Pick your pain, discipline or regret. I think that's really good because discipline is one of those terms that people often misunderstand. They think of it only as a bad thing. But discipline is a good thing, especially self-discipline when you're focusing yourself, but it's also work, right? Like you don't have to be disciplined in order to stagnate or move backwards in life. Like your natural state, if you just do nothing, you're going to constantly get worse. Like it is hard work and often painful to get better at anything, whether it's a hobby, to get better at like your health, to get better with intelligence, like whatever you're trying to improve, it's work and it's painful at times. Um, but at the end of the day, you're going to experience pain. It's either going to be the pain of the discipline that you go through now or the pain of regret that you didn't achieve the things you wanted to achieve.
Huh.
The pain that you get to 5 years down the road and say, "Man, if I'd have stuck it out, if I'd have worked those weekends, if I'd have listed those items, if I'd have whatever it is, right? If I'd have been disciplined then, I wouldn't feel like this now." Right? So you're gonna experience pain one way or the other. You just get to choose what it is. Is it regret or is it the discipline now? That's good stuff, man. Thank you,
It is.
thriftstore.tv.
It is.
That's a
It's
good one.
thriftstore.tv. That I just looked it up. So thank you so much. And wow, we got 2 quotes. I got mine. You remember mine?
Yep.
I'm not gonna go down that road, but I think that's my last quote of the week.
That's what he says. But
First
man,
and
that's a
last.
thing. I'm excited about that. All
Okay,
right.
tell me about your hustle of the week.
So here's kind of a cool one. So, um, kind of like we talked about going to garage sales today, like sometimes it's the off the beaten path one you find.
Mhm.
And I was actually about ready to wrap it up for the day because you got that magic hour where it's like, early. It was supposed to start at 7 and I got there around 6:20 and people were setting up and I think I already bought like 12 items before it was even 7
That's
from various.
incredible. That's so good.
But like you get to a point where it's like it's 8:30, it's almost 9 o'clock, it's 9 o'clock now. It's like, okay, all the good stuff's gone. I'm hitting places and there's nothing left. Okay, I should just turn around and go home. And I decided to go a little bit further and I turned down a road that wasn't on the map, but I saw there was a sign. So I went down there and I find this house where everything had been picked through, but I decided I'm gonna look anyways. I see a tripod, which gets my attention because I love video stuff and that kind of. So I see this tripod, but I'm like, oh, I already have some of those. Don't necessarily need it. I'm walking along and I find a box with some board games, and I love board games. And there's almost never ROI on most board games, but I like to look at them anyways because for my personal, like maybe it's a good one. And I see this
Mike
really
likes to hoard board games.
I hoard, but I play them too. So, um, really old board games, like mixed with some new ones. There's like apples to apples, and then this game that I can tell is like from the late '80s, early '90s of like kind of a Dungeons and Dragons style game. And I'm like, ooh, this is right up my alley, right? So I look it up. I think it was called like Wiz War, um, something edition. And I look it up and I'm seeing new ones are going for like well over $100. Used ones are going for like around 70-ish. And I'm like, oh, this is
Wow.
amazing, right? Like this is a used one. Like maybe all the parts are there. Like I'm at least gonna grab it and carry it, to see if there's anything else I want.
Now,
So
how did you know about this game?
I could just tell by looking at it that it looked like old school kind of D&D style, cheesy,
So what does old school look like? And I'm putting you on the spot. I'm just interested.
kind of looks like hand drawn, like wizards that are almost cartoony looking with like, I don't know, like they don't, the boxes of those kinds of things and the books of those things. I mean, like just to give you an example, I opened up the box and I look at it. I think the cards that were used were literally business cards that like somebody at home printed, like whoever made this game originally probably was like
Wow.
somebody out of their
Okay, I
garage,
can
you know?
I catch what you're saying.
So I look this up and it's obviously worth a lot of money. And so I'm like, "All right, grab this one. I'm carrying it. And then I see some boxes of card games on a table and I'm looking through those. Oh, and there's another game called like Storybook something. Those sell for like 20. And so I picked that one up too. And so I'm walking with these two games and I'm looking at these cards. And as I'm looking them up and I'm seeing like huge ROI, and that's actually my hustle of the week. I'm gonna talk about in a second. But as I'm looking at these cards, he walks over to me and he's like, "Oh, you're gonna get that wizard game." He goes, "Hold on." So he goes into his garage and he comes back out and he's like, "I have another one."
Oh, that's so
He's like,
awesome.
but he goes, and so like I got really excited, but then I kind of got my hopes down when he's like, "But I'll throw this in with that one because I think one of them might be missing some pieces. So between the two, you got a full set." Right. So hey, that still works out, right? I at
Mhm.
least have a full set, and I don't know, maybe you can part out the other one pieces. But so that's a win. And then I find these card games, this box of card games called Illuminati the Card Game
Illuminati the card
from
game.
like 1994.
I don't
And
even know if I'd wanna pick that up.
yeah, like this episode, we're probably gonna get some people talking about us, like Pure Hustle Podcast. They're Illuminati for sure. Did you
Oh,
see the
that's
way Mike held his hand? You know what I mean?
oh.
Like, who knows? Like, but in his honestly, like this card game is intense looking. So like I'm looking at them, I'm looking at the box. I look it up and new they're going again well over $100. Used they're going for around like the $70 ish range. And there's two of them here, and so I'm like, sweet, buying both of them. And I picked up the tripod, so I got all of these things: the tripod, which is a $70 tripod. These two Illuminati games, which are like $70. This the Wizard War game. I got all of this cool stuff. And he started off around $30. I talked him down to 20. I feel good about myself.
Good. That's you got him down 33%.
Yeah,
That's great.
I feel great. That's a good hustle.
And you picked up some awesome games.
Well, and that's the thing too is I feel good because it's like I feel like my hobby of board games doesn't pay off all the time, you know, financially because I waste a lot of time scanning board games that are not worth anything. But when it pays off, man, it feels good.
But it's part of also of like the joys of being a reseller.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd probably never see that game in my life if it wasn't for reselling.
you know what I mean? I mean that's kind of what keeps me motivated. Like you find really cool stuff and then you're like, "Hey, I wonder what I'm going to find today." Right? What am I going to come across today? I
That's
love
cool.
it.
Yeah, and man, those cards, the Illuminati, the card game. As I was taking pictures of them today, listing it. Man, some of them are intense. Like it's so
Wait,
weird.
what
Like
the tell me
political. Like I'm not. I don't know. I don't feel it's definitely not politically correct to talk about some of the like the card titles and stuff. But man, it was. I was like, oh, this game.
interesting.
Yeah, Illuminati. It's definitely like Illuminati style. Like it follows that theme. New World Order, government control. It's cool.
Wow. All right, mine's a little more lighthearted.
It's not about the Illuminati.
No, not at all. It's about Christmas.
Oh, that's nice.
Right? Okay. So you guys that follow us on Instagram, you saw this. And it was part of the Insta story also. So Department 56, if you haven't picked up Department 56, it's not this isn't the Bolo, but they have some good stuff out there. And if I would say I don't get emotionally attached to materials at all. But if I did, Department 56 might be one of them.
Hmm.
And I don't know what it is about Christmas villages.
Wait, I'm gonna interrupt you. I do think you're a little sentimental about fingerlings because you have such a big
Wow.
collection of them.
Get out of here. Okay, you know what?
I saw one the other day at a store that was a giant fingerling that's like a hugging one that hugs you.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, I've got to get this for Orlando. So that might be your Christmas
I already have
present
two of
this
them. All right. Because I thought they
Of
would
course you
make
do.
money, but they're everywhere. All right. So Department 56, so they're a company that puts out like these collectible, like kind of there's either Christmas villages or there's like Halloween villages or there's different kind of seasons and there's some cool sports ones I've picked up before. Like I picked up one that had to do with like the Yankees or there's a Radio City Music Hall and basically they're like these figurines of a building and they have like people or you think your typical Christmas village. So I was on a Friday night and I'm looking up at all the garage sales. And I'm never a fan when people post the good stuff that they have on their ad. Right? Because automatically I go, you know what? I might as well not even go.
Yeah, and they also put like no early birds, please.
True.
So it's like, what do you do with that? Like, you want this item, but like, You can't stand there in line. Like,
No,
oh,
I know. What kills me too is if they have like on Craigslist, and I still use Craigslist. I use Yard Sale Treasure Map, but I still like Craigslist. I find good stuff on Craigslist as far as garage sales. Everything else, I don't know, man. So when they have that reply, like you can email them. Sometimes I'll email people the night before because I've heard of people that email the night before and say, "Hey, I'll offer you all this for these items," and they end up snatching that item before the garage sale.
that's a good idea. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, and I haven't had any success with it, but I know people that have. So I saw this ad and I go, I really want this. Like they had, I want to say in total, it's funny because it doesn't matter how many times I count things. Like I don't remember what the full number was, but I think they had about 15 items, and they were all kinds. So one was like a schoolhouse, one was like a medical building, one was a wedding chapel, one was a store. I mean, and then they had all these cool little figurines that, a lot of them are discontinued. So it's hard to come across this stuff. I've never seen this ad and I go, that's what I'm going to grab tomorrow. Like if there's anything I walk away with, it's going to be Department 56, all of it. And I looked and I was already doing some kind of researching before, the morning, and some of the pieces were going for $50 to $70 a piece, and there's about 15 of them, and then there's like little figures. And this was like an hour away. So I make it my first stop for garage sales the next day. And I show up, and this is like it's a community, and it was, I don't know if they were manufactured homes, but it was like, all tight housing. And I go to the address, and there's none of this stuff is there. And I go, oh, is this the house where you guys had the Department 56 items? And they go, no, it's 2 houses over. And I'm like, probably somebody already picked it up, because I already kind of got there like 20 minutes after the community sale was supposed to start. And I'm driving and I look and it's all there. I'm like, wow, it's all here. And I'm already going like, okay, I need to walk away with this. Like, I can't, not walk away with this. But I've been to stuff like, for instance, last year, I went to a house where, I'm not kidding you, they probably had half of the garage full with Department 56. Okay, half of the garage full. Okay, that's a lot. And I actually wanted to buy it out. And I asked them how much would it cost to buy it out, and if they gave me some, it was like, I don't know, $10,000 or $20,000. So, which I would have dropped had the resale value been there, but it was pretty much at retail, so I didn't pick it up. Well, at this place, I kind of was worried that, they were going to have that. So I already saw that the items were priced. It was $25 here, $25 here, $25 here, and there's still money to be made. And we're talking about probably like 70% ROI. So I approached a lady and I said, and this was an Insta story, so some of you already saw this, but not everybody watches our Insta stories. And I asked her, how much would you be willing to do if I bought all of it? So she goes, okay, all the 25s will be 15. And then all the 10s will make 5. And I'm like, wow, we're really working here. And then she I think she said like $200 something for all of it. So then I was like, oh, how about, you never give the first number, right?
Yeah.
I go, how about 140? Do 140 for all of it. She goes, you know what? I need to go wake up my husband and see if that's okay. And
man.
I know. And so I automatically go, you know what? Can we do just 160? Let's just do 160. I'm good. I got the cash. She goes, no, that's not what happened. Sorry, let me rewind. I go, what about 150? She goes, no, I really got it. You know what? I can do 160. And there's a part of me that wanted to haggle some more, but I'm like,
don't wake up the husband.
No, I was like, you know what? I'm not. Here you go, 160. There we go, right? And she was happy and I was happy, because here's what you guys got to think about. Those of you that are new to reselling, sometimes you got to pay up, and I didn't necessarily pay up, but it was more than I wanted to pay. You got to be willing to pay up when it's a big lot of items, right? Because you're not going to come across that many at one time.
Yeah.
Right? For me to find all that would take years.
Yeah. It's worth it for your time. The amount you might pay extra, you're making up for in so much other things like time and energy Yeah, absolutely.
And so, sure enough, paid the 160, and I picked it up and I put it in my, and I was so pumped. And that was my
Mm.
first sale of the day, right? Love starting it that way. And then the next day, I spent all day taking pictures, listing, and I already had people on Instagram because I had posted on Instagram
Mhm.
the haul from the day, and I had people on Instagram already contacting me about wanting to buy items,
Oh, man.
right? Because they are hot
Yeah.
items, and they are cool. Like one of them was like an outhouse.
Oh, jeez, that's awesome.
I know, but it was cool because like the detail, like there's like a toilet paper roll, and
Yeah,
then it had a
so
Time Life.
there's a magazine inside.
Yeah, he's a
That's
Time Life
awesome.
magazine. I was like, wow, this is so cool. And in the end, I did the research, and I think I can probably get, $160. I'm probably gonna get over $1,000 when I think, right? It might
Oh.
be 800, but
One day I'm gonna get a haul like that, Orlando, and I'm gonna talk about it. I'm probably gonna do like a dance while like I'm doing the podcast.
now again, I'm only okay. I'm only gonna get that number. Like, let's say 800 is the top number, right? 1,000 like Region for the Stars. 800 if it's a collector,
Gotcha.
right? And it's the only item, right? Chances are I'll probably turn that 160. I'm probably gonna take some best offers, probably $600 to $700, right? But the rest of the day, I had a bunch of other hauls, and it led to about. I finally did the research on everything, about
Mm.
$1,800 net for that day.
Yeah, see, like, I'm not having days like that, Orlando. I'm having good days. Like, I'm coming home with like, yeah, I'll probably net $300 to $400 if like a really, really good day. Man, that's gonna be one day. I'm gonna come home and be like, yeah, I made $1,000 today.
Yeah, but it'll get there. Like again, and it's part of being willing to think outside the box. So
Mm.
I'll share one more story from that day. That day I also had another haul, which may lead to another haul.
Mm.
So that day I went to a house and I noticed a Harley Davidson motorcycle in front. That's always been a cue for me to go, do you have any Harley gear?
Mm.
Like I always do that. So I went and like he had nothing. He had no Harley stuff out. And I said, hey, do you have any Harley gear that you're willing to sell? He goes, oh, I got hundreds of shirts. You know what? Let me go back. And I'm
Mm.
like, yes, this is awesome. And his wife goes, no, you can't. We're gonna make a blanket out of those.
Oh man.
And I'm like, oh man, like, and I had this dilemma, like, do I push this more? Because I don't want to be part of the marital strife in this
Yeah.
home. But I did. So
Oh.
I asked him, I said, you know what? I don't need to buy all of it. Just are you willing to part with some of it? And she's like, no. And he's like, honey, we can part with some of these. Like, we're only making a blanket and we got hundreds. And so he goes back and he comes back with like 13 shirts. And we're not talking about like short sleeve Harley shirts, which now go, sometimes I do sell some of them for $40 still, but for the most
Wow.
part, it's about $20. But the long sleeve shirts still sell for $40 to $50 if they're the right ones. Like
Mm.
they have flames down the side or skulls and it's a cool
Mm.
design. So I ended up picking out 13 shirts for $70. So this is my second hustle of the week, I guess. And each of those are probably going to sell for 30 to 40. Right? So that's a nice haul. It was a good
It's
day.
good. It's real good.
But the other part of it was
Hey, when
these
you're done with the blanket, hit me up.
yeah.
I'll come back.
Yeah, and I had my
Nice.
business card, and I left my business card, and now I haven't heard from them, so it makes me kinda sad,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm a big fan of, "Can I call you?" But I
Mm.
already felt like I pushed enough, like, I didn't wanna push more, but they were and the guy said, "I got hundreds of shirts, a lot of them new with tags, so I'm willing to make that deal, let us just go through these blankets." So, hopefully one day and I'm not crossing my fingers, I don't think they're gonna contact me, but if they do, wow, what a haul.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
So, it was good.
Good job, Orlando. I'm proud of you.
It happens. You just gotta be
Yeah,
consistent.
just
No, I'm serious.
no, but I joke. I'm not really jealous in that sense because I know the amount of work it takes to get there, right? Like part of the thing is I'm probably passing up lots of great opportunities just because I haven't spent the time and learned all the things to look for. Now I'm finding things much quicker and easier than I have in the past because I've spent the time in researching and learning them. And that's one of those things too. So again, if you're out there and you're new and you're like, this hasn't happened for me yet, hang in there, right?
I agree.
Like these big sells and big finds, maybe you get lucky. I mean, we've had a couple of hustle of the weeks where people, call in or let us know, and it's like they're brand new to reselling and they found something that they flipped and made $1,000 on. Like that happens. So, but it only happens if you're out there looking for it,
Mhm.
and the more you do it, and the longer you do it, the better you'll get. Which, in some ways, kind of leads into this idea of bolos, right? So, what's your bolo of the week?
So my bull of the week is hockey jerseys. And for whatever reason, is it hockey season right now? I don't even know. I don't even follow hockey. I'm
I've
sorry
got
to
no
all of you
idea.
that love hockey, but hockey jerseys go for money.
Hmm.
And I think it's because you can't just go anywhere and buy a hockey jersey, or maybe you can. I don't know. I don't go to malls anymore. Can you do that?
I don't know. I
When's
think
the
it
last
depends
time you
on.
bought something at a mall, Mike?
I don't know, but
Right? I mean, think about it. That's where we are. Like people diss e-commerce, and I'm like, you guys don't get it. Like people don't go to malls anymore.
yeah.
They might go to Target or Walmart or Costco, but outside of that, go to
I
malls.
mean, people still do to an extent, but I think too, like people complain about it, and some people I've seen some people leave negative comments about reselling in general about how it's destroying retail. But the reality is you can't go backwards in time.
Mhm,
Time moves forward, and it's kind of like radio or newspaper and TV. Like these things come, and then something else eventually comes and replaces them, and there's growing pains, right? Like people mourn the loss of what was familiar,
mhm.
and sometimes what replaces is better, and sometimes it comes with new struggles. But the fact of the matter is, you can't go backwards. Like we're not going backwards to no internet, and now we're going back to like just reading newspapers for information. Like maybe newspapers are better, and I miss them, but the
I'm glad
reality
you
is you
know what
can't go
newspapers
backwards.
are.
Of course, I know news. Well, my dad actually worked as a pressman for a
Okay,
newspaper,
okay.
so
All right, let's get back to the bolo though.
Olo.
Okay, so hockey jerseys, especially if they're made by CCM or they have a CCM tag or Coho, like they are definitely money. And I still remember from our ride along video that hockey jersey,
Yep,
right? That one sold, paid $4 for that, sold it for 84.99. It's kind of cool because
that's
it's exactly what
fire.
I said on the video. It's
Yeah.
just shocking to me, but hey, it happens. I just recently sold a Detroit Red Wings jersey for $60 that I picked up for 10. And today when I was garage sailing, here's the interesting one. Do you know the San Diego Gulls? Do you know what they are?
Yep.
Right? They are
Local
AHL.
team.
They're a local team. They're not
Like a minor
NHL.
league.
They're like minor league. But those jerseys are going like for $60, $80.
Nice.
And I probably killed any opportunity in San Diego for me to pick those up. But
Oh, man, you're that guy.
no,
You just ruined it.
no, but you just gotta be there, right? You just gotta be. But it was shocking to me. Like I've never thought about the hockey jerseys are a bolo, but
Mm,
I think every hockey jersey I've had, I'm trying to remember. I think I've sold every single one of them for more than $50.
yeah,
And most of the time I pick them up used for $5 to $10.
yeah. And maybe part of it too that we were able to pick them up so cheap here might be one of the few benefits of living in California is that hockey's not a big deal, so there's not a big market of people
You know what it
looking to
is
buy them.
though?
Is it?
Yeah, it is in certain parts of California.
Certain parts of California. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But that's I feel like a relatively new phenomenon. Like I don't
Yeah.
feel like hockey has been huge for very long, but I think recently people are starting to get into it.
No, I agree. And the reason I make this about some of you are like Orlando jerseys really, it's because a lot of people think about basketball or they think
Mm,
about baseball
football.
jerseys, they think football. But hockey is one of those I don't hear a lot of people talking about.
Yeah. It'd be really cool is if there's money in like bowling jerseys.
Bowling.
I don't
Are there
know.
bowling jerseys?
Yeah, man. There's professional bowlers and they have like sponsors and stuff. I'm sure there's jerseys. People
Okay.
buy them.
All right. Maybe one day. All right. Not a bolo though.
Not a
It's
bolo.
hockey jerseys.
Maybe a bolo.
Maybe, right? That's true. All right, Mike, what do you got?
All right. So this one's weird because it's not like a hey, this is fire, you're gonna make a ton of money. But we've noticed in our Posh store, um, we've got a lot of items. Some items are like the really big name brand ticket items. Some items are just kind of like thrift store finds where it's like, hey, this is a cute item. I don't know. It's not like a name brand. We have found a lot of success selling Banana Republic stuff. And
What? Banana Republic?
yeah, and so that's
I am shocked.
well, and that's the thing is like I know they're like not ultra high end, but they're also not like Walmart, right? Like they're somewhere in between.
Yeah,
They're like you see them at nice malls or nice, designer
that
places
is true.
occasionally. So you see Banana. Um, we've had a lot of success selling banana sweaters, banana tops, banana shirts, a pair of banana pants. Like
So what's been the ROI on those?
That's what I mean. Like, it's not like, oh, this is like fire. Like, I bought it for $1 and sold it for 50,
Okay.
but we're selling them consistently. We're getting them for like $1 to $5, somewhere in that range, depending on what
Okay.
we're getting, and selling them for like 15 to $20.
Okay.
So yeah, so like, if you're low on space, again, I think clothing, one of the reasons we're kind of moving more and more towards posh is it is takes up way less space. It's relatively easy to ship. And yeah, so you're buying some for $2, you make $15, so maybe your profit margin on there is only like 10 or $11. Well, if you've got the volume, it's easy to print, it's easy to pack, you're saving time in other ways, like, you know, it's doable. We're enjoying it.
Okay.
So
If it works
banana.
for you. I think I long time ago sold a sweater that was Banana Republic, but I think that's the last time I looked.
Do you have any banana in your inventory?
No.
We'll see if that might be the reason why that was the last time you sold a banana.
You're right. But again, if you're new to reselling, you're trying to build that capital, and you find items that are selling quick, it's
Yep.
worth it to you.
Yeah, and please don't like go out and buy everything you see banana and say like,
Do
hey,
your research.
yeah,
Get
you
that
gotta
phone
know.
out. Go to the eBay app. Filter it to completed solds, pre-owned, most recent listing. You can go to high. Like sometimes people filter to high to see what's the most they can get. But you also got to look at recent, because what might have been high 3 weeks or 3 months ago, right? Because eBay goes back 90 days, may not be the same case
Yeah,
now.
because I'd be really sad if one of you guys like messaged us and said like,
I got this
I
haul
spent my
of
entire
1,000 Banana Republic
I
sweaters.
spent my entire life savings on banana or whatever, and it has ruined me, and I'm bankrupt now. Like, please don't do that. Like, research and know, but just a helpful tip, maybe like it's moving quickly. I don't know if it's gonna always move quickly, if this is just a passing phase, but it's nice.
I gotta admit, I have seen some people on IG post Banana Republic.
There we go. It's a thing.
So definitely interesting. All right.
Well,
The day you say natural issue will be the day that I'm like, Mike, I have no idea what you're talking about. You know what natural issue is? It's like Walmart brand, like Hawaiian shirts.
dude, let's make it a thing. I don't know how we can do that.
Oh, it's kind of like right now, you know what really, since we're talking about this really quick, is Cook Street. They make shirts that look kind of like Rain Spooner. And it drives me crazy. Like I'll go to the right, I'm like, oh, it's Cook Street. And Costco sells Cook Street. So it's like, it's everywhere now. But I did pick up some Rain Spooners a few weeks ago. Have you picked up one yet?
I have not found. That was like the first thing when we went to a thrift store. Was like, you got to look for Rain Spooner, and I have spent hours and hours combing through racks at thrift stores and never once found one.
I wonder what's happening. I don't know if it's been resellers or people that own them have figured out that they shouldn't donate them. I don't know.
But just like the Doc Martens that I bought, one day I'm gonna find them and I'm gonna like make a huge deal about like, I got a Rain Spooner.
There you go. Hey, and by the way, Mike, you did pick up some Doc Martens that were messed, but Doc Martens that are messed up still sell well.
I'm hoping.
They really do, because people like that look. It's just
like
interesting.
The lived in, this thing has gone through a war look.
They do. I've sold some for like $100 that look like totally beat up, and people are all about it. Interesting. All right.
So what are you looking forward to this upcoming week?
Wow. That's such a loaded question. Number one is getting through all my online arbitrage and getting it out.
You realize I'm going to hold you accountable for that.
I'll do it.
And you said number one, which means there's a number two. So I'm holding you accountable for two things.
Number one is that. Number two is to clear out any items that I've not shipped out. So not only do I have online arbitrage, now I did have a Denon receiver, and I had some Polk audio speakers, by the way.
Nice.
That I picked up that I sent to Amazon. But they were just taking, this Denon receiver was heavy and big, and I sent it off to Amazon. I'm the only person that has it on FBA, or actually at all, and so it should sell quick. But I have a lot of, you see what I struggle with online arbitrage and retail arbitrage is that I have a lot of other items that are Amazon FBA potential, like GameCube controllers or a GameCube. I didn't tell you the story of what happened to my GameCube.
So what's your GameCube?
I had a GameCube. And sometimes to put a temporary hold after a long day of garage sailing, I put stuff on top of my kitchen cabinets.
Wait.
Like, there's that space between the ceiling and the kitchen cabinet.
And you put stuff up there because you just want to get it out of your hands.
Yeah, so I don't like have to
momentarily?
look at it. Yeah. So
Okay.
I put a GameCube up there. And I thought, it's good to go. I walk away and in slow-mo, I see the GameCube come off the top, land on my oven, like boom, smash it. And then the little top piece, the GameCube cover, like fly off. I'm like,
money down the
that is
drain
$70.
or
Now,
on the oven.
I did shake it a little bit, and there's something in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna test it, and if it works, I'm gonna swap it with the GameCube I have already that I use to play games on with my son, and
Okay.
send that one into FBA.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you gotta treat things. I'm preaching to
So you
myself.
shook it, so you think that it works?
No. I just kept hearing things, and I'm like, something's moving around in here. Anyways,
That's not a
I'm
good
preaching
sign.
to myself, saying, you got to treat your inventory like a business.
Yep.
Like, had I taken that extra step to secure it up there, I wouldn't be out that money.
Good point.
So anyways, what I'm saying is I have a bunch of stuff like that I need to just bubble wrap and send them to FBA.
Good idea. Get it done, man.
So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh, you want to know what I'm looking forward to?
Yes.
Here's a weird one. I don't know if this is like a great one, but I want to make more videos. I don't know if I'm gonna have more time this week because I'm super busy with a lot of other things. But I would like to hear from you guys. The other videos that we're making, the most recent one with the mug, our ride along video, our unpacking haul video. Do you guys like those videos? Is it stuff you'd like to see more of on YouTube? If so, what kinds of videos are you looking for? Because I'm kind of thinking like maybe next time I go to a thrift store or the next time I'm packing something in my garage, like just quick video. If there's something you want, let me know. I'd like to make some more videos. So that'd be fun.
Maybe else. We got to do a garage sale video.
Yeah, but that one would be rough. I feel like you lose a lot of your bargaining power when you're following someone with a camera.
I don't know. Maybe the pressure's on. Like, I better not look like I'm willing to make a deal here. You know what I mean? There's another way to look at it.
Maybe.
So, all right. Hey, with all that being said, it's time for us to roll out. Make sure you're following us on YouTube, Pure Hustle Podcast. Make sure you're following us on Twitter, Pure Hustle Cast. We're on Instagram. We're Pure Hustle Podcast. Give us a call, 619-738-1170. On YouTube, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, comment. I think I covered everything, right?
Yeah. Muglife for life.
There you go. With all that being said, make sure you're being real,
Be relevant.
and be reselling.
Peace.